Hello and welcome to the Lunar Phoenix Path, where we use symbolism to help you turn embers into flame. Today, we're looking at purpose and direction, specifically through the lens of moving forward. So if you've been feeling like this is where things start turning, then this reading may have something for you. This will be a general collective reading, so take what resonates, leave the rest, and move forward in a way that best suits you. Let's see what wants to come forward. Okay, so you feel like things are beginning to turn. Well, I will start off by saying congratulations, if that is truly what you were feeling. Before I even turn this card over, so a little bit of insight. Prior, God, it feels like another lifetime ago. Post-divorce, before I even met my current husband, I had to heal a lot of things. And without delving down the entire road of what those were, let me just officially say that progress often feels invisible while you're living through it, especially after a season of feeling stuck. So that said, the Hierophant. So spiritual wisdom, religious beliefs, traditions, conviction, conformity, education, knowledge, and belief systems. So the first thought that came through is obviously of a spiritual sense. Maybe you haven't gone to church, or I'll generalize it more. Maybe you haven't practiced your religious beliefs, if you have any. I'm hearing that maybe it's time. Whatever your situation has been, in so much you perform, it will give you clarity on the next step. If nothing else, maybe it will help your soul feel a little lighter so you can gain clarity. I feel on the you may need clarity thing, like I feel like everything that you've been through, like it's just been very, well, difficult is a given. I know dark is really the only thing that's coming to my mind. So in that aspect, you may have spent a whole lot of time just surviving. I'll leave it at that. Maybe it's become hard for you to recognize how much you've already grown. For those of you who have uncertainty, that doesn't mean that you're lost per se. It may mean that you're leaving an old chapter behind. And maybe you need to get that clarity. Sort of like, I had this picture of a child, probably more me when I was a kid. I took swimming lessons. Mom forced me. Not that we ever went on cruises, but if there ever came a point where I needed to learn, I needed to know how to swim, she wanted that in my repertoire. So in that respect, the last year of swimming lessons was in the quote-unquote deep end, so 10 feet. I was a very buoyant child. So part of the experience of actually graduating, if you will, was to retrieve something off the bottom of the pool. I just couldn't do it. I was, in all fairness, I was terrified of the deep end. It didn't matter how much I knew how to swim. But I knew how to swim. So, you know, I'm not so certain. Well, yeah. And the whole point in all of that is kind of like I was uncertain of being in the deep end. It's kind of where I feel like I need to find another example. I'm dwelling too much on this card. I think you know where I'm trying to go with this. Believe in yourself is what we need to focus on. Okay, so things you may need to do, to improve. We have the King of Wands, natural born leader, vision, boldness, daring, charm, entrepreneur, power, big picture, optimism, taking control. So taking control is the first thing that pops in my mind, like that stands out. In the idea of moving forward, I'm hearing don't be afraid to take the first step. Ooh, so like the first faithful is the word that's coming to my mind, the first faithful step. You don't have to see the entire length, the entire path from start to finish. Sometimes the journey begins with just a step. It could be the first step in the logical direction. Maybe maybe there's no logic to it whatsoever. Your gut instinct is saying, this is the way I need to go. I don't know why. Maybe you do. But the point is that you need to listen to your intuition. You don't have to know every step of the way. Just trust your instincts. Whatever feels right from your intuition in that aspect, do it. Do not be afraid. Looking at this natural born leader, boldness, I can speak, entrepreneur. Those are all like the natural born leader, the entrepreneur. Those are some really high value type positions, just the energy, the boldness, but maybe it is natural to the stereotypical person in that role. But where I'm going with this is that everybody started somewhere. So if you aren't there and that's where you want to be, what I'm hearing is that the experiences that you have that made you feel like a failure, don't let that ring in your head. Use those as teaching moments. Use those to guide your path. So you already know what didn't work. Try something new. Try something different. Be open to opportunities that don't look exactly like what the plans that you had imagined. I am one of those people that wants to plan everything out, at least when it comes to like jobs, tasks. Shoot, it could be right down to cleaning the house. If you're a very goal-oriented type of person like I am, not knowing the entire plan probably kills you. But sometimes I'm telling you, sometimes you don't need to have a plan. Some things are meant to just experience on the fly. Big picture, daring. Vision. So, okay, so this next thought, and the idea of like, if you have a goal of like trying to lose weight, like sustainable weight loss, you need to make more like steady, constant movements rather than shoot for dramatic breakthroughs. I mean, don't get me wrong, dramatic breakthroughs are fantastic. They boost your morale. But the quick weight loss options, generally they work at the moment, but they are not long term. Like right now, GLP-1s are a thing. People are losing a lot of weight, but they have to stay on the drug, generally speaking. The moment they get off of the drug is when the weight comes back, because there were disciplinary things that were not actively set in place. So the small, sustainable, steady movements, as slow as they are, those are the ones that will get you to where you need to be successfully. Maybe there's something on social media as of late that I keep seeing. Keep it private until it's done. I mean, you don't have to shout to the world that this is what you're doing, but I don't know. It was a thought that just popped in my head. Okay, so possible outcomes. Ooh, okay, was not expecting this one. So the devil. Toxic energies, obsessions, attachments, addiction, oppression, abusive, shadow self, materialism, sexual lust, greed, and envy. I don't think it needs to be exactly some of these things. The idea is like toxic energies, okay? Obsessions, attachments, addictions, stuff like that. Everything that you don't want. Like if you don't take the steps to better yourself, the toxicity will still remain. Kind of like the weight loss analogy. If you want to lose weight, you have to, it's the simplistic version of eat less and move more. I understand that, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's harder for people than others in that basic sense. Take me, for example. If you're not doing anything, I'm hearing hopes, wishes, and dreams. I wish I could be super thin and eat like 10 tacos, but I can't have both, so. In order to be super thin, well, you could have both now I think about it. You'd have to do a whole lot of exercise. The point is you got to put in the work. You can't just sit like a bump on a log and just everything just comes to you. I just kind of looked down as I finished that thought, and greed kind of came out. The point is you gotta put in the work to move forward. You may not be comfortable all the time. You may not know all the steps. Trust your intuition, and if that doesn't work, trust logic. See what works. Okay? So let me ask you this. If fear wasn't making the decision for you, what direction would you naturally move towards? You don't have to force clarity, okay? Pay attention to what brings you peace, what aligns with your values, what allows you to fully become yourself. Okay, so let's get some oracle cards. Okay. Of course. So it is time to take action. For those of you who like time frames, or just dates in general, new moon in Aries, which would be, well, I only have the 2026 dates up here. So in that aspect, new moon in Aries was back in April, specifically the 17th. So I would look whenever you're watching this, The next time the new moon is in Aries, maybe that date will have meaning to you. But for this reading, I'm going to focus on it is time to take action. Don't be that bump on the log that I was talking about. Okay? I am not going to beat that dead horse. We're just going to keep running, trucking. So, time to do it differently. Ooh, go beyond what you have done before. So, I feel like this is specifically speaking to those who have tried different things and it just didn't work. Something will work. You have to find it. You don't have to know the answer right away, is what I'm hearing. Just think outside the box. So think outside the box kind of popped in my mind. For those of you who like numerology, 22. So balance and duality kind of pops up there. But yeah, try a different tactic and see what happens. Maybe the next one is what works for you. Maybe you come up with more than one idea and the first one you try doesn't work and the second one does. I don't know, just give it a whirl. You never know. All right, so that's about it. Whatever is surfacing for you right now, let it clarify rather than consume. Take what resonates, leave the rest, and move forward in a way that best suits you. I'll see you next time.